know it's increasingly apparent that mathematics do not apply to the literary world. Example, mathematics tell us a negative and a negative equal a positive. Literary world, if you have a shitty author take inspiration from another shitty author, it doesn't make a positive movie, it doesn't make a good movie, it just makes shit. It's shit inspired by shit, which creates more shit. It's all negative. No math, no logic. Why are we here? 50 shades of socially acceptable porn that your girlfriend's gonna insist she's allowed to watch even after she made you delete your entire digital stash. I know, it's completely unfair, the hypocrisy. So 50 Shades of Grey is the movie adaptation based on the book, which is based off of Twilight fanfiction. Seriously, look it up, that's how that shit started. And it's completely apparent this was inspired by Twilight. Everyone in this movie is an exaggeration or cartoon version of a Twilight character. You have Save Me From My Boring Ass Life Bella. In Twilight, Edward was this really controlling, shitty boyfriend. This Grey guy's, of course, I mean, he's a dominatrix, so he's more controlling. I mean, this guy's a complete freak. Not only, I mean, the S&M stuff, I mean, people have their bedroom kinks. I get it. That's not bad. It's not necessarily freaky, it's not scary, but it's when he's like bumped into her a couple times. At this point, she just gets his phone number and she drunk dials him and she's like, hey, I'm drunk, and he's like, what? Are you drinking? Stop drinking right now. You put down that devil water. You don't know this girl that well. Why are you ordering her to do stuff? Just to be a dick? Right there should have been a red flag. She should have been like, yeah, no, not that guy. Odds are that went through her mind. She was like, oh wait, but he's a billionaire. All right, yeah, I guess I'll put up with it. You have Team Jacob Friendzone. Is really pathetic too. He's like, hey friend, what do you want to do today? Yeah, I totally want to fuck your tits, but I'm not going to be able to because I'm not a billionaire. But this movie is, the gimmick is the S&M shit. That's what sells this movie. It's ultimately, it is porn. The bummer for the movie is that it's theatrically released porn. So hey, it wants to play with the big boys. It wants to be judged as a movie. We're going to judge this shit as a movie. I mean, if Jenna Hayes' Dark Side was released as a movie, I'd be like, it's a shitty movie. It has no plot. Why are we here? But Jenna Hayes' Dark Side knows what it is. It knows it's porn. It knows you're going to skip to the good scenes. It just goes on its merry way. No one judges it for that, but hey, 50 Shades wants to be a movie. All right. The leads in this movie have no chemistry whatsoever. It's the most forced romance since Anakin and Padme. It's terrible. Everyone is the idealistic, perfect version of what they need to be for this plot to be like, ooh, it's like Twilight. This billionaire who's like, he's a complete playboy. He does sadomasochistic shit. I mean, you know, that's his world. He's obviously completely incompatible with this completely innocent girl. You could be like, oh no, he finds that appealing. But it's not that she's innocent. She's kind of open to it. It's just she's innocent and she's boring in the sexual aspect of it. She's not as open to the possibilities as he would want someone like her to be. So you're like, why are you going after her? What, you hit a dry spell, dude? Are you this really attractive model looking billionaire that doesn't have titties just thrown at him day in, day out? Do you just have to go after the girl who dresses like she sits in the front row pew of her Bible Belt church? I don't get any of it. And then there's her. She's like, no, this is too much for me. At a point, they're going over the contract. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And he gets a disappointed look in his face. You think he'd be like, you know, we're not that compatible, I guess. Let's just move on. Go our separate ways. And it's not like they've known each other for 2 whole days at the point where they're like, ooh, I'm completely infatuated with you. It's that they've bumped into each other a couple times. That's enough for them to be like, oh, you know what? I need you. There's even this shitty ass line where, I mean, she's like, I'm a virgin. You go, yeah, she's a virgin. She's this girl who so cherishes her virginity and has all of her life. She's never had sex, but now she's gonna give it up to this dude that she's run into a couple times in the course of a couple days. I assess one thing from that. She's a gold-digging whore. But in the scene where she breaks that to him, she's like, I've never had sex, I'm a virgin. He's like, where have you been all my life? And with his hands cupping her face, she's like, waiting for you. I was like, the amount of people that line had to get past to make it on screen, no one called it. No one was like, you know, this shit's a stretch already, but that's not making it. That's actually too bad. And the fact that the lead actors have zero chemistry in this movie, that is just terrible. It's bad enough. But you think, all right, what's the overall plot? The overall plot is their shitty ass stupid romance that shouldn't be happening because they're completely incompatible with each other. I mean, in other shitty ass movies where you have bad acting and it uses sex as the driving force for the plot, there is usually bigger shit happening. Basic Instinct, it's like, oh, who killed the guy with the ice pick? Twilight, mark this day. I'm gonna use Twilight in comparison to 50 Shades of Grey as the positive. Oh my god. How did we get here as a society? At least Twilight had the element of, oh, the werewolves might fight the vampires, there might be a big fight going on, there might be a battle. You can't have your weird freak hybrid baby because the Illuminati will like tear your lives apart and kill you and all that shit. This says there's nothing except the fact these two kind of want to date each other, but they shouldn't, and they start to realize they shouldn't, and it's just boring. That's It's the movie. There's no bigger picture shit. In that, it's the S&M stuff that is the gimmick that's driving the movie. If the S&M shit's not happening, you're just drudging through the bad dialogue, zero chemistry, and the shitty script to get there. And even when it does happen, it's actually not that interesting. And the fact is, I know a lot of my subscribers were looking forward to me shitting on 50 Shades of Grey, and I knew that, and I was like, I don't want to shit on 50 Shades of Grey just because, you know, people are expecting me to. If it's not a shitty movie, I'm gonna be like, hey, guess what? It's not actually as terrible as I thought it was gonna be. And it's not actually as terrible as I thought it was gonna be. It's actually worse. 50 Shades of Grey is worse than Twilight. It's worse than dog shit. Oh yeah, it's nothing. And there it is. That's the vortex, friends. That's the nothing. That's what the never-ending story was warning us about. That is where your pride goes when you're sitting in this auditorium because you watched this movie and you skipped out on Kingsman. And there's gonna be 3 more of these movies. I say 3 because there's 2 more books after this one, but you know they're gonna split that last movie into 2 parts, so it's 3. All right. So did your girlfriend drag you to 50 Shades of Grey? Have you seen this movie? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. Or if not, you can tell me of the shittiest movie you've ever seen. Actually, yeah, this is a good one. What's the shittiest movie you've ever seen? And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here.
50 Shades of Grey is directed by Sam Taylor Johnson and is based off of the internationally best-selling book of the same name. Now really quick, first off, I want to say hello to all of the new subscribers who have come on since my Problem with Action Movies Today video. First off, thank you so much for subscribing. I'm flattered with how many people really liked that video, and I apologize that this is the first new review you get to see, but I do try to see everything because I love what I do. But not tonight. The film is about a young woman named Anastasia Steele who fills in for her friend who has a cold for about 5 minutes in the movie just so she can get the position that her friend was gonna have, which is interview Christian Grey, a very successful businessman, and she of course falls for him, and he really happens to like BDSM, bondage and various sexual things, ropes and stuff like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. And she embarks on a journey of sexual discovery. That's what this movie's about. And the author adapted it from her Twilight fan fiction, just so you know. Originally, the author of the book has since come out and saying, look, I wrote a Twilight fanfiction about various fantasies that I had. People liked it, I changed the names, I made a book out of it, and now she's a millionaire. That's how it works in this world, apparently. Now look, it's really easy to go into this movie ready to hate it, and I'll be honest, I did not want to see this movie at all. Why would I? That being said, I tried to keep an open mind. And there are 2 praiseworthy things about this movie. In my opinion, that is Dakota Johnson. I can see her being really good in a movie that was equally as good. That's not this movie though. And the movie looks really good. It's a well shot and a well lit movie. But you know what you can do? If you got a really good director of photography and you went out to the street and you found a pile of rat shit, he could probably light that very well and perhaps shoot it with an interesting angle. But it's still rat shit. 50 Shades of Grey. This movie is a 2-hour softcore porn with way more story than you ever care to see in a porn, and tons of the cheesiest dialogue since the last Twilight movie. This movie is considerably more melodramatic than Jupiter Ascending even, and that movie was cheesy as hell. But I really do have major issues with this film, the number one being the portrayal of Anastasia Steele. This is yet another weak female character who requires a man, a big, strong, powerful man who's rich and famous and likes to whip people in the ass to make her happy. She can't be happy on her own. She needs that man. She can't do anything without that man. And when he's gone, she can't think about anything else but him and doesn't feel complete. With this female character and Jupiter Jones and her weak, absolutely requiring Channing Tatum to rescue her every 2 seconds character, we are seeing some really awful, weak-ass female characters. What are you writers doing out there? Come on, give some better roles to women. I'm serious. This is actually pissing me off and I'm a dude. It's also extremely easy to see the parallels with Twilight. For one, she has a best friend named Jose, who just might as well be Jacob, because he kind of likes her too. And that's kind of throwing a love triangle into the mix. Christian takes her out flying, and it's so fun for her, similar to how Edward put Bella on his back and jumped around the trees. And despite the fact that Christian continuously tells her that he is not good for her, that he is not the one for her, that she should stay far away from him, she keeps on coming back, just like Edward and Bella. It's abhorrent how this is literally Twilight, just with BDSM. So let's talk about it because you want to know what I think about it. The sex scenes, they're pretty racy for a rated R, that's for sure. But the problem with this movie is, She isn't into it. He is. She just keeps letting him do stuff to her for his own pleasure, even though she doesn't even enjoy it. That's how weak of a character she is. And it's really sad. Look, I'm not going to waste my time talking about this movie anymore because I'm more than likely going to have to see 2 more because there's 2 more books and the movie, of course, ends on a cliffhanger with tons of arcs just hanging in the air, waiting to be completed. This movie's horrible. I hated it. It's a well-shot, semi-well-acted movie that's a total piece of garbage, and I cannot stand it. 50 Shades of Total Fucking Shit gets an F. Oh, yeah, so I won a 50 Shades of Grey prize pack at the screening. That's right, I won a raffle. Let's see what's in it. Wow, it's a 50 Shades of Grey poster. Whoa, it's a 50 Shades of Grey t-shirt. Curious? No, I'm really not, actually. What the hell? Oh, it's lip balm. Okay. It's a lip balm. I thought this was something else. Huh, it's a candle. I like candles, but not ones with 50 Shades of Grey written on them.
Gosh, great.
I really wish I had this blindfold when the movie was playing. Well, guys, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? Let me know below. I'm curious to know if you did see the movie. Don't, though, because it's just going to give it money, and then they'll make more. I saw it at a screening, so I didn't give them any money. Yes. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I am going to check out Kingsman. Don't worry.